It's one of the quietest places on the island of Malta. However, on October 16th, Charles was surprised by a loud bang. When this former pilot stepped out onto his terrace, he realized that an attack had just taken place.
When I went outside, I saw the police and firemen. They came very quickly. It was a very powerful bomb. The body was scattered. It was in pieces.
200 meters below his house, a burning car. It first exploded on the road, before ending up in a field and bursting into flames. The debris was thrown dozens of meters. Charles filmed the forensic police combing the perimeter. 3/4 of an hour after the explosion, the television interrupted its programs to reveal the identity of the victim.
It's 4:15 p.m. Welcome to our special edition on our airwaves. According to reports we received from the village of Benija, a car exploded on the road. According to our information, the victim is the famous journalist and blogger Daphnée Caruana Galizia.
Daphnée Caruana Galizia, 53 years old, Malta's most famous investigative journalist. Married with 3 children. In this small Mediterranean archipelago, known for hosting numerous offshore companies, this strong-willed woman denounces corruption. On her blog, followed by 400,000 readers worldwide, as many as the population of Malta, she is uncompromising in her criticism of the country's leaders, including the Prime Minister and his wife, whom she accuses of owning an offshore account in Panama. Last April, the journalist stated that the documents certifying this were in a bank in Valletta, the capital of Malta. An hour after publication, a TV crew filmed the bank's manager coming out with suitcases in hand.
You work at Pilatus Bank. Why are you leaving the bank so late? And what's in those suitcases?
A political earthquake that led the Prime Minister to put his seat back on the line in early elections last June. Despite the suspicions, Joseph Muscat was re-elected. 2 hours after the assassination, yesterday's enemy appeared before the cameras and put on a brave face.
I want to condemn before you without reservation the barbaric act perpetrated not only on a person, but also on freedom of expression in our country. There can be no rest until justice is served.
The country is in a state of shock. A week after her murder, a mass was held in her memory in the village where she lived.
Those who put her to death exactly 1 week ago are trying to frighten us, to terrorize us.
The small church is not big enough to accommodate the crowd. Outside, strangers, neighbors, and friends, like Andrew Cardona. He works as a lawyer with Daphne's husband. He'd known her for 30 years.
It's just not fair. Nobody should have to die like that. It's not just because it's her. No one should be eliminated like a rabid dog.
Who killed Daphnée Caruana Galizia? She was adored by some, but hated by others. Especially among the political class. Arnold Casola, professor of literature at the University of Malta and former Green Party candidate. In his opinion, the journalist's attacks were not always in the best taste, as in this recent article about the opposition leader.
It was published at 51 minutes before his assassination. It was about Adrian Delia. She destroyed him and his reputation. She revealed that he held a secret bank account on the island of Jersey. Plus, she says he looks like a turtle, that he looks like the hunchback of Notre Dame. To me, that's stupid. In fact, she was ruining her excellent investigative work by writing, for example, "You're short and fat like a coconut." A lot of people said, "I don't want to know anything about her. She's a witch." She made a lot of enemies.
Some of them anonymous. David Teeks, a close friend of the journalist, had been in charge of her blog's IT security since its creation 10 years ago. He explains that he had to deal with mysterious hackers.
I've been in this business for 30 years.
But I'd never seen attacks like the one on Daphne's site. Incredible quantities of data were arriving simultaneously from thousands of computers around the world. It was impossible to know who was behind these attacks.
Computer harassment, but also judicial harassment. Many of the personalities she implicated lodged complaints. Like that night in March 2013, when the police came to collect her from her home after the publication of an intimidating article. Intimidation to silence her, according to the journalist.
My article was published at 9 o'clock in the evening, and at 21:30 the police were already at my door with an arrest warrant issued by a magistrate and therefore obtained in just 2.5 hours.
Could you give me Daphnée Caruana Galizia's file?
Joseph Mempel has been defending her for 10 years. 50% of his firm's defamation cases concern Daphnée. With each complaint, she had to pay legal fees to defend herself. Around 500 euros multiplied by 42 libel suits, still awaiting trial.
We're talking about a sum approaching 20,000 euros. Just to defense, or potentially. She risked having to pay €500,000 in damages.
This financial pressure was supposed to deter her from investigating influential figures in Malta. Some even had her account sequestered.
The strategy was to paralyze it financially in the hope that this would calm it down. It didn't. Just as it didn't stop her from writing, she paid for the ultimate penalty with her life.
Despite Daphne's death, the proceedings against her are still ongoing. In addition to the lawsuits, the journalist regularly received death threats. Her sister, whom we contacted by telephone, agreed to tell us about it.
For 30 years, she received all kinds of threats. Letters. Someone killed her dog. Someone tried to set fire to her house. Then, after she started her blog, people were knocking on her door. Others sent messages directly to her blog.
Her laptop was destroyed in the car. Do you know what she's been working on lately?
I don't know what she's been working on lately. She didn't talk about these subjects or her sources. Some people think we know why this happened, that we know what she was working on. If we knew, we wouldn't be wondering who killed her and why. Nobody knows. Or if anyone knows, they're not talking.
Was Daphnée murdered by the drug dealers she was investigating? Was her murder a political act of revenge? This is the third time in 6 days that they have taken to the streets. In the crowd, Chris, a 46-year-old engineer, is handing out free t-shirts.
What size do you want? Come on, psychic.
It reads the last words published by the journalist half an hour before her death. Crooks everywhere you look. The situation is desperate.
Are you angry? Yeah, I'm angry and hurt. Obviously, they killed our only source of information. We want resignations. If the rule of law has failed, then there are those responsible. The politicians must go.
The street is demanding the resignation not only of the Prime Minister, but also of the head of the investigation, the police chief.
Hi, how are you? Not so good?
With other demonstrators, David Teeks, the block's head of security, heads for the commissioner's headquarters.
Instead of protecting the citizens and laws of this country, he's protecting the Prime Minister and his entourage. That's why we call it a mafia state.
"15 days after the journalist's murder, no information on the investigation has filtered out. Daphnée Caruana Galizia was buried on Friday. Not far from where she died,